The Nuggets ex-coach seems to hold a lot of grudges against his former team, as in 2 months he's gone on to change his opinion on who the real MVP is. While he was defending and promoting Jokic not that long ago, now the narrative has shifted, and Malone showed his true feelings for the Serbian big. But is this out of pure hatred? And more importantly, should Jokic fall down for provocations like this? There is no doubt that the Nikola Jokic SGA discussion for the MVP of 2024/2025 will go down as one of the most intense ones in the history of the sport. But with agendas left and right, the narrative might get spun in one way or another. For example, the former coach of the Nuggets, Mike Malone, had a firm belief that Jokic was the MVP in his eyes, and it had nothing to do with the foul baiting of Shea or the fact that they are the #1 seed in the West. But after he got sacked with a couple of games left to play in the regular season, Mike Malone seemed to have taken a swipe at his former player, and on national TV, while explaining a play of SGA, he went on to close it with a very controversial statement, adding, "He's shown why he is the MVP. He took over the second half." What's very important to note here is that the MVP award is given for the influence that a player had on his team during the regular season. Malone knows that better than anyone out there, and he still decided to take a sweep at the player he used to emphasize largely during his time as a head coach of the Nuggets. This is a massive shift in the narrative because not that long ago, Malone was preaching the gameplay of Jokic and what the Serbian brought to the table every time he went on the court. Obviously, things can change when you are being treated a certain way, and although Game 7 against these two has gone on to change the opinion of many experts and players regarding the MVP picture, it's now clear that the Nuggets are going to have a bit of trouble supporting the case of Jokic being the MVP. In our eyes, he is definitely the most valuable player in the league because we've seen that in the 2 minutes he was out against OKC in Game 7, the Thunder went on a 13-0 run. Yes, even with him being present on the court, they went on high runs as well, but this was the one that facilitated the comeback and made sure the Nuggets wouldn't have any chance to bring themselves back in the game. But why is this statement so controversial? It's not just because of the fact that it's coming from a former coach of the Nuggets, but because of the fact that he promoted Jokic very aggressively throughout the entire season for the MVP. It's also because of the fact that Malone seems to have a very low respect for Nikola and his team right now. And when addressing the MVP discussion not that long ago while he was still the head coach of the Nuggets, Malone said, "Obviously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a great player, and if he wins his first MVP, he is deserving of that. My thing is, if you didn't know that Nikola won 3 MVPs and I put player A and player B on paper, the guy that was averaging a triple-double, the guy that is top 3 in the 3 major statistical categories, things that no one has ever done, he wins the MVP 10 times out of 10. And if you don't think so, I think you guys are out of your minds." Well, the latter part, out of your minds, was phrased differently, but we can't precisely tell you because it's a profane language used by Malone. Even though there were strong indications that Nikola Jokic had nothing to do with the firing of Malone, hence he didn't deserve such treatment from the former coach. According to Shams Charania, the Serbian big understood the organization's move in order to improve in the most pivotal part of the season. On the other hand, Jokic was highly positive when it comes to the leadership shown by the interim coach, David Adelman, in the postseason. It was a huge burden on Adelman's shoulders, and while they were able to take down the Clippers in 7 games, they fell to the Thunder in the exact same number of games played. Jokic and his squad were able to drag the OKC to places we never thought they could, and at a certain point, they were even leading the series. When talking about the impact of Adelman on the team and how it affected the energy of the team, Jokic said, "I think David changed the energy. I think the guys were woken up a little bit. The guys had more energy. He made us believe something. I think he did a really good job." This could very well be the reason why Malone decided to change the narrative all of a sudden. And it's not just Jokic who had positive praise for Adelman, it was Aaron Gordon as well. This goes to show that maybe the players weren't as satisfied with the coaching of Malone as it seemed at first sight. And when talking about this matter, Gordon has gone on to say, "I love David Adelman. I hope he is here next year. I hope he is our coach. I hope he gets an entire training camp, a whole off-season and a whole training camp to figure out his philosophy. I had David in Orlando. We have David here. Adelman is great. He was excellent for us, and I hope that he is here next year." Still, the team is now far away from winning any championship with the current roster, and Jokic knows that better than anyone else. The Serbian superstar was adamant that the chances are now slim to none, and if there was any opportunity for them, they would have used it. The fact that they got eliminated with the current roster goes to show that they are unable to win the championship. And when talking about this to a greater extent, Jokic said, "We didn't win the championship, so obviously we can't do it with this construction. If we could, we would win it. I don't believe in that if stuff. We had opportunities. We didn't win it, so I think we can't." What are the pieces that the Nuggets need to be looking at right now? Obviously, the inconsistency of Michael Porter Jr. is something that will hurt them in the long-term picture because he is on a hefty contract as we speak. The same can be said for Jamal Murray. So to see the Nuggets shaking up this trio and receiving something valuable in exchange for Murray or Porter Jr. is not something that we should be expecting anytime soon. The injuries and the inconsistencies are too big for any team to gamble on them as a long-term solution for their rosters. And on the other hand, we have Russell Westbrook to worry about as well. Despite the former OKC superstar showing bright lights in the beginning of the season, it seems like he's fallen off the curve, primarily because of all the talks that have emerged from the background. There have been reports that the teammates of Russell started to believe he is immature. And when you have something like this on your back, you tend to lose confidence in your teammates. Still, this doesn't bring down the fact that Jokic is by far the most valuable player that any franchise has seen, and the stats speak louder than our words. Therefore, the comments made by Mike Malone might be a bit questionable, and whether we like it or not, it's not doing him any good for the big picture of his post-Nuggets era. With all this in mind, what do you think will happen with the MVP battle? And more importantly, do you think that the former coach Malone has gone one step too far and taken a swipe at his own credibility? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video that appears on your screen right now.